Hi everyone, this is Diane. This video is a compilation of a Scrapistry update and an organizing update. So I did a Scrapistry video where I did a lot of stamping on scraps of paper and scraps of cardstock. So last night I did some more stamping of these tickets, and then just now I cut them all out with my Big Shot and the dies. These are the stamps I used. Tim Holtz ticket booth, 10 tickets, and then I cut them out with this, which goes with it, and there are 6 dies because some of the dies can be used for more than one stamp, and I just love these. And I will cut more out. I've got lots more cardstock scraps that I can use for this and for other things. I want to cut out more reinforcements in small pieces, arrows and things like that with my scraps of cardstock. And then I cut out the other things that I stamped on various kinds of papers. So I'll just tuck these away and use them when I need embellishments. Some journaling cards. And little label-y things. Some little words. There's more of them down there. I like these borders. This is from a Tim Holtz set, the Inspector, I think it was. Some of the Tim Holtz embroidery. I think it's called embroidered, or it's either embroidered or embroidery, this set. I like them in red. And some little light bulbs cut out. And some word strips. Claims for errors must be made on receipt of goods. There's the Inspector. And some more words. And numbers. And then more labels and words. Got them all cut out. And last night, while I was watching TV, I did some sorting. Get these out of the way. When I moved, I had a bunch of scraps of file folders, cardstock, coffee dyed papers, and some other things that were they were stuffed in something over by my Cricut or my Big Shot so that I could cut things and also grab file folder when I wanted to stamp. And then when I moved, I just put everything into 2 containers. So I had this box. You're not going to be able to see it very well. And that was stuffed full. And I had this, like a shopping bag full of stuff. So a lot of times when I was pulling things out that I wanted to stamp on or die cut that were next to me, this is what I was pulling from, but they weren't organized at all. So last night I organized them. I really didn't know exactly what was in them. So here's what I found. I'll lay this on its side so you can see. All of this is cut up file folders. Some of them are copy dyed or full-size file folders that are copy dyed. And I have other file folders that aren't copy dyed or anything. They're in a different section of my room here, but these are all ready for me to stamp on. So I really want to, this is way more than I need. I don't know if I'll ever use this many, but I have them here and I want to really do some sessions with stamping on some of this. So I'm leaving it in this container right here, and then behind it I can place painted papers, sprayed papers, the papers that get colored for whatever reason. And then I'll have scraps too when I do a project, and I'll have scraps. So when I want to use colored paper for something, I'll know right where to go. This works really well for this right now, and hopefully I'll be able to just pull out some of the smaller pieces and get that thinned out. So yeah, I'm going to leave this under the L part of my table. You know, my table is here, and then to the right of me, there's a little bit of an L shape. So it's an extension, and there's space underneath there. So I can put that there. And I do not want to leave these pieces in this bag. So I do have them sort of sorted. At least they were sorted. I just put them back in the bag to bring them back downstairs. And I found things in this bag that didn't belong in here. But like I said, I was packing to move, and I just shoved everything in this bag. So hang on a minute. This is some stuff that I found in there, like some die cut labels. There's a puzzle piece that doesn't have any paper on it, but I thought I could paint it and do something with it. And then I have a bunch of masterboard pieces that were cut. This is just a digital piece. But these masterboard, these are things that I glued down after I finished a project. I just glued them to papers or cardstocks and then cut them. I've got a whole bunch of them in here. And I also have some digitals that I glued to other digitals, and one side of them can be written on. And I got a bunch of those. So these need to be projects. I need to do something with these. And I have some map pieces that I cut out. So I'll need to make something with them. See, that could be a nice pocket on a big journal. And some little bits that could just be used in collage. And there's a full masterboard sheet. So I'll have to put those somewhere where I can do a good project session. Now, what was in this pile? Some cardstock pieces, and some of these are colored file folder pieces. I don't know if I need to hang on to all of these, maybe like the little ones. I mean, I could die cut reinforcements out of that, but I have lots of cardstock I can use for die cuts or for reinforcements. So I don't know. I didn't throw much away while I was sorting, but probably I should have. So these are just cardstock pieces, and some, including some file folders. I guess it goes all the way down to here. What am I going to do with these? I don't know. I have this. It was an envelope, or this is something from the paper studio. So I'm not sure what that came from, but this is actually a very old and fragile envelope. So I want to use that for collage and cardstock. And then these pieces here are covers of music books or notebooks, divider pages. They're mostly heavier pieces, cardstock weight at least. That's just a nice heavy cardstock. Some divider pages with the tabs, what do you call this? Press board covers and things like that that I could cut up and use. So I want to keep them in one place so I know where to find them when I want to make something with them. These are the press board file folder dividers with the metal tabs and metal rings. I like this calendar, Peanuts calendar, because it's sturdy and I like the background. I've made lots of tags with those pages. I had, I don't know, 2 or 3 of those calendars. Oh, there's another masterboard. So these are craft notebook covers, very sturdy. Another piano music book, or just music book. It was one of the manuscript where you had to write your own music in it. So I have a couple more of those. I really like using them. This is a cover of a piano book, blank piano book, so I can use those. And this, and this. That can go with the painted papers. And then these dividers with the cute, not cute, but the very unusual embossed and debossed corners. got a bunch of those. Another music book cover. This is a tiny little music book cover and a children's book cover. Some parchment that used to be greeting cards, and another music book. So these are all just parts of packaging or books or binders, things like that. So I found one empty one of these school bins that I can put these in. And I think I will put the full masterboard pieces in here, pages. Oh, maybe I only have one. I thought there was another. Oh, it's over here. It's in this pile. And I could put these masterboard cut up pieces in a cellophane bag or something and stick them in there also, so I know where they are when I want to work on them. I guess these are not masterboard pieces. So I guess I just have to decide what I want to do with this stuff, whether I want to keep it or start all over with collecting pieces like this, because, you know, we get overrun and sometimes we just have to call it quits. So I'm going to sort through this better and just maybe keep a few things out of it. Because, like, I guess I saved these by my Cricut, by my Big Shot, I mean, so I could cut out the little things like the numbers and the arrows and reinforcements and little labels and things. But there's always going to be more. I like these. These were a file folder, but I liked them because they had the grid on the inside. So I'm going to keep those at least. Keep some coffee dyed pieces. We worked too hard for that coffee dye. That could be a fun card. These are just craft cards, I think. They're 4x6 or something. 5x, I don't know what they are, but they came like this. I don't know what they were for. I'll keep them for now. That's a nice big piece. I'll use that for stamping. I have to be firm with myself and just get rid of some of this. This is textured. It was a folder, a vintage folder. There. And these other cardstock pieces I can put in my drawer that has cardstock scraps. So they already have a place to go. And then one of these days, when I get around here, I'm kind of going around my room to organize, but I do take detours because I need to find something that I can take upstairs and work on. But what was I saying? Eventually, when I get back around to this table, I'll have to go through those two drawers of scraps. One drawer is pattern paper and one drawer is colored cardstock. those. These are file folders, but they look like the color of the straw paper. I'm going to keep those. There's the ridges on the edges where the file folder is scored. That can go in the pattern cardstock. Painted paper. Here, I got rid of some anyway. Probably not as much as I should, but I did. Then these, I don't even know where I pulled these out from. I think I pulled them out from the drawers that are in this desk. So I was going to make tickets and then die cut little things out of these. So I guess I will leave them out and then give myself a little time to work on them, and then get rid of what I don't use, because they will build back up again very quickly. It's some handmade paper. And these are file folders. I'm just not going to keep those. And don't yell at me for throwing stuff away, because I have to. That's what destashing is. You do have to get rid of stuff. Some pretty patterned pieces. And these are craft papers. I got a lot of that stuff. I'm just going to toss all of that right now. Some more parchment. Some file folder pieces. I know where they go. I still have bits of the trinkets I was organizing laying on my desk. I got most of it put away, but not all of it. Okay. So these are cut into card and tag shapes, so I'm going to put them with my masterboard pieces. I will put all of these in, got to get them out of the bin here, in a cellophane bag so that they're easy to remove. And then they'll be there so I can work on them. Oh, I put that in there so I can use it in collage on those items. So these I can make things with. And these can be used on those things that I make things with. Does that make sense? So that can be with them. All right, now I need to get these out of my way right now. These are all the little cardstock pieces that I want to see how much I can use up in a short period of time. And I think I'll put these in another cellophane bag and put them with these in that the second bin that I have masterboards and music book covers and things like that in. And I'm just going to set these on top of my little acrylic drawers right here on my table, but they won't live there. They're only going to live there a short while, so that will encourage me to use them. So that is this organizing session. I do have to organize better under that desk so that I can put those things in there neatly. There's some other stuff in there that needs to be tended to. And I can put these, I'll keep that out and stamp on it. I'll put these in one of my binders for my die cut placemat ephemera holder. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for today. I might add something to the back end of this. How long have we been doing this? 20 minutes. I'll probably add something else here, whatever I do tomorrow. So I'll see you then. I am back another day, and I've been working on organizing this cabinet here, which is near the entrance of my craft room. Right there is the door that goes to the laundry and utility area. So this has fabric and textiles up there, and down here I have cookbook, recipe, domestic arts, journals, things like that. Some of the things are right here on my table, so I can go through them. So I don't know exactly what I want to do with my fabrics, but right now these are the larger pieces of fabric, and that is baby and doll clothes. And these are fabric samples, and I think they're 10 by 10 layer cake fabric pieces, and a couple other big fabric pieces. This is patchwork, sewn together patchwork, not quilted, but it was sewn together. And here I have ribbons in those two, and muslin and cheesecloth and things like that, and crochet bits in here. Now these baskets are not a good fit for in there. I have to pull everything out. I can't just pull this out. Well, I can, I guess I can, but it doesn't, because of the hinge here. I have to, if I want this, I have to pull everything out. So I want to look for things that are a better fit in there. What I would really like is if I had another shelf here, but I don't. And then I have linens, crochet, embroidered linens, and just vintage linens. And oh, I bought a piece of muslin because I actually ran out of muslin except for little pieces. But for now, this is what it is. And I have more fabrics, you know, in my nook area. I have a cubby with fabrics. So when I get over there to start organizing the cubby or the nook, maybe I'll figure things out better with my fabrics. Now, I was wondering, you can tell me what you think. I'm gonna move over here slowly. I can get the whole span of my messy craft room. Oh, I've got my tripod sitting there, but I was wondering about moving all of these book covers into this cabinet that I'm working on, and then using these crates to separate those different types of fabrics and textiles I have. It would be a lot of work to just move everything and try it out, but it might be worth a try. Anyway, down here I have already organized everything in here. This is for recipe and cookbook journals, so I don't need to do anything more there. And I did go through my sewing patterns and organized those things, and I will be destashing sewing patterns. I had that basket there. It's a big basket, and it was stuffed. And then I also had more patterns that didn't fit in there. So I weeded things out. I've got a nice group that I can destash, and that basket is not stuffed. It's full, but it's not stuffed. I organized that little cigar box that has 3D type of domestic arts pieces that I can use, needle books and snaps and just various assorted things. So I'm going to close that up and move over here, and I'm going to put my phone on the tripod, and we'll do some sorting here. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see well the way I have things set up. These are the patterns that I'm destashing, these plus these, and they range from the 1940s to the 1970s. There is nothing newer than the 70s in these patterns that I'm destashing. I'll set those aside. And all this stuff here is stuff I have to go through. So I have this galvanized divided container. And I got that at Hobby Lobby a long time ago. And this is where I have been storing domestic arts pages from books and various supplies. So I want to look through this and have it available for me to sort things into as I go through things. You can see that. So I have these little needlework books, pages, and this was from a storybook about We Play House, and I love these images of children playing house. They're great for domestic arts, housekeeping journals. And this is the cover of a needlework book. I don't know if I'll leave that in there. Somebody made this envelope for me, I believe, out of wallpaper border, but it's sewing. This is a book that talked about your colors way back. It was a thing in the 90s, maybe 80s, where you could have your colors read. I had a book, and my sisters and I did a whole session with each other. There's some more of that wallpaper border. So I don't know if this belongs in domestic arts or where. It's a really nice page, though. I love it. This is about stains, removing stains. So, yep, that would be domestic arts. And then I have some decals that have to do with housekeeping, kitchen, kind of. I have a sewing or an apron pattern, which I don't know if I want it here or with the cooking stuff. I'll leave it here. I do have some aprons in with my cooking supplies. And that's a great domestic arts page. These are large cards that I got at a vendor mall. And I took out the ones that are domestic. So we've got the bathroom sink here and a broom. I'm going to put these with transfers because I'm going to sort through my transfers. I'm going to start a pile for that. This I love. This was a book that had these charts for doing cross-stitch monograms, and I love that. I make cards and tags out of that, and I really love it. And these are scraps of Stampin' Up! Paper, very old Stampin' Up! Paper that has household cleaning appliances and whatnot. I loved that paper. A pattern for transfers for pillowcases. I'll put that with the transfers. This is just packaging from shoulder pads. I'll put that with the sewing stuff. That can go with the sewing things. Millinery, more sewing. House and garden. It's just a subscription card. So that can go here. I did have, see, sewing stuff is in the bottom of the left-hand cupboard that I already did. And then on the right hand, I had my needlework plus domestic arts. This is a book about housekeepers in the Victorian homes. This is needlework stuff. Cleaning. These are envelopes that have the grocery list on them, which is really fun. This envelope just contains a bunch of little pieces for, like that, Electrolux postcard. That's fantastic. Tupperware postcard. So these are house, oh, look at that little girl brushing her hair. That's from a sewing pattern, or pattern, I guess it was a magazine, but it was a pattern for a slip. I'm just going to keep all these right where they were. I'll go through them when I'm ready to make one of these journals. Every time I organize supplies for a certain thing, I want to make that journal right away. Tag that I made with Brillo advertisement. Brillo pads. This doesn't have the transfers in it, but I love the envelope. It's from the, looks like it's from the 30s, the designs, but I don't know. I don't want to spend a lot of time because this is being tacked onto a video that was already done, so I have about 25 minutes just for this video. All right, so there are the transfers, and then these are, I remember getting these, New York State Electric and Gas. This one isn't even open. So apparently this lady was getting these every month. Electric Kitchen Party. So they have recipes and probably some household hints. I don't know what it all is, but they are really cool. And I have several envelopes of those, quite a few, which I'll save. And then this house cleaning handbook. Now I have a bunch of booklets, and I just automatically save the domestic arts type of booklets. This is recipes, I think. Yeah, those are recipes. Electrolux user's manual. I love these images. Another Electrolux. Transform Magic, how to transform old furniture. Household guide. A little coloring book, Busy Days coloring book. And some of these maybe could be housekeeping, but I wanted the cover for that. So all of these little booklets, I am going to go sit down in my chair that's in my nook, because I haven't been doing that, using my chair. But there's a hostess guide, embroidery, housewife's almanac, home laundering. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to sit in my chair and go through these books and take pages out that I want to keep, and then put bundles together, all of those things. These are mail order needlecraft and sewing things. So I'll keep those. And then, oh, this is where my transfers are. So I'm going to look through all of this stuff, and I'm going to remove some of it from my stash. This has pages from books that I've taken apart. And I have this folder to look through. I have this really fun laminated ice cream that I picked up at a flea market, but it's been too big to use in anything. I have 2 of them for a raspberry sundae. So I'll look through that, and then I have the pages from the bigger books to go through, and some bigger brochures like Sherwin-Williams home decorator painting guides. I'll look through those and take pages out. I've been just hoarding this stuff, and I need to do something with it. This is way too much for me to keep. So it will be relaxing for me to sit in my little nook in that chair and put on YouTube and go through all this stuff. So I'm going to take this right over to the nook right now. All right, and then last night I took apart this cookbook. I loved the vintage coloring on these pages, and I think this is the stack of pages that I'm going to de-stash. I did keep some, but I probably put them in with my cookbook ephemera already. These items, these are belts, and what I'm going to do with those, instead of leaving them in this package indefinitely and organizing around them all the time, because I've had these for years, I'm going to open up the package and read the instructions and put the grommets or the eyelets in where they need to go in, and actually have these available to use to buckle up a journal. It would go around a journal and close it. So I'm going to learn how to do that. And I have these hooks and eyes. There should be 2 packages. I don't know where one of them went, but I had 2 of these. They're not just metal, they are wrapped. So I will put those with my closures because I will use them to make closures with. So I'm going to put all of those over there. And then these items are going to be destashed. Snaps and hooks and eyes and buttons. They will eventually go. Oh, here's the other set. I think this is the one I used. There were 2 sets of them and I used one. These are a little bit bigger than these, but that's what they will be for. I'm going to put these with the destash items. And then I have a bunch of miscellaneous things. This is mending tape. Mend while you iron. I don't know what I'll do with that, but I'm going to keep it in with my domestic art stuff for now. And mend it. This is for mending iron pots. Which I'm not going to mend an iron pot, but the packaging is cool. I would just put the whole thing in a pocket. I love this little Valentine with the girl vacuuming. And these are the ones I'm keeping. I had a bunch of hair nets. Oh, they're here. Over the years, I've collected a lot of hair nets, and I have put some in journals. But I had quite a few, like, oh, I shouldn't say quite a few, 3 of those, I think. I only had 1 of that one. I had maybe 2 of that, 3 of that one, maybe 4, and 2 of that, and 2 of that. So I took 1 of each of those, except for the one I only had 1 of, and I'm putting them in a destash bundle. They're already over there with my destash stuff. Care of the home, first aid and medical advice, that will be over there to go through. I pulled out these Victorian type of images, and I think I'm going to put those in a bundle in my shop. And I'll put that with it. And then I have just these cards with recipes, so they'll go with my recipe stuff. Some household notebook. I'll just keep that. I don't need to take pages out of that one. This is one of the National Dairy Council cards. I'm going to keep it. I have the other ones in with my recipe stuff, but that one is tall, so I want to make sure it gets protected. And then I just have these miscellaneous, here's another hairnet, miscellaneous pieces. We're almost done here. I have these little images cut from children's books. This, I do have a bin over in my cubbies in the nook that have more of these pieces. They're needlepoint, that I don't know who did them, but they're wonky and really cool. I love them. And I bought a collection of them at the flea market a few years ago, but I want to use those in domestic arts journals. But I have this bin that has things like this, textile type of stuff, yarns and whatnot, so that'll go in there. And I have a couple of things cut out from sewing patterns. And here's another apron that was cut out of a pattern book. I'll keep it in here. A card that had a yarn sample on it. This is cross-stitch fabric, so I'm going to put it with this in that bins. Some grocery lists. I debated on putting that with the food stuff, recipe stuff, but I think grocery shopping goes along with the domestic arts. It's part of taking care of your home. More mendits for taking mending pots. Directors of Home Economics. This is about electricity in our homes. More embroidery pages. So these all go in, I don't know, needlework, sewing, needlework. And these are pieces of that very old wallpaper border that I bought. I still have it on little rolls, but those were cut, so I'm putting them in here. All right, now this galvanized divider will go back in the cupboard, and looks like I have a lot of space left in the cupboard. So, you know, I still have room for organizing in there. Tell me what you think about the idea of moving my book covers over here and storing fabrics and things on in my crates. That's going to do it for this video. I'm going to finish cleaning up this, and then sit and go through all those materials that I showed you. Thanks for coming along as I organize. I am making progress. I'm trying to hurry so I can get as much done as possible before the new year, and so I can get started on a journal at that point. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.